When you feel all alone in this world and there's nobody to count your tears, just remember, no matter where you are, Allah knows. Allah knows. No matter what, inside or out, there's one thing of which there's no doubt. Allah knows. Allah knows. And whatever lies in the heavens and the heavens, every star in this whole universe, Allah knows. Allah knows.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters and our Muslim all over the world, we are happy in Iqra, part of ART, to continue this program about inside the Rawdah, which we talk about the Rawdah AlSharifah, the place where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used to pray and read Quran and meet the delegation and so. And the Rawdah is there known until today. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ stated about its boundary, as we said in the first part of our talks, between his house, the room he used to stay in it, and the platform that he used to give khutbah on it. Now we will talk about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ when he migrated from Mecca by the order of Allah towards Medina. We see that the first thing Prophet Muhammad ﷺ as he arrived to Quba, and then he stayed, and then when he did, the first thing he did is building the mosque that we visit today, and that he was living beside it, and then he was buried inside it, and then all these places, it shows us from the beginning how Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he came, everybody wanted him to choose his land to make the mosque. But he said no. He was in his camel and he said, leave it. It will go as being ordered. Leave it. And so the camel moved, and until the time he stood in a place and rested. This place, for some places where have some trees and gardens and so on, it belongs to some two boys that they are orphanage and they lost their father and mother, and so they wanted to give it to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He said no, and he asked them to say how much they want, and he paid for them and insisted to pay for them, because this is the first part he built, and this is the first mosque he built. And so after that, there was a place to some of his uncles of Bani Najjar also. They said, we will give it to you. He said no, and he argued with them, but they refused. And so he started to build the mosque. Let us now see what happened when he started to build this. If we see and think carefully, we will see that there is an important thing, that he did not order the people to build the mosque. No, he started himself to build this mosque, to participate in it. After that, even when he take these boys, what did we say, the two orphanage, one of them called Suhail, one Sahal, and there was in some of the people of Medina called As'ad ibn Zurara, he insisted to give them the money. But more than that, after the camel rested, he started to arrange and participated himself, not to sitting and order the Sahaba, which could have been happy, and they were happy if they could build the mosque. They said, no, I will start, and he started the first thing with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, with Umar ibn Khattab, with Uthman, with Ali ibn Abi Talib. They all participated. But who is leading them? Prophet Muhammad ﷺ by himself. He carried the material and go and build. And he looked to the people around him and said that everybody was part of it. Sayyidina Hamza and Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and the Sahaba, they all of them participated in building this mosque. And he led the operation step by step until they finished and did it. And he was so happy, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that he finished building this mosque with the participation and cooperation of all the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim, and he first of all asked if they take away all the old trees, because there was some palm trees and so on, and then clean the places, and there was some old graves, and he moved it away and then cleaned the part, and he started cutting the trees around it, and all of a sudden, when the people says, the people immigrated from Mecca and the people supported Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam Medina, Al-Muhajir Ansar, they saw him working, said, if we stayed and Prophet Muhammad work, it is a shame on us. We should participate. The living is the living of the last day for judgment. And so with this poem, they supported each other. Wa Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he also with them, he said, there is no life but the life of the last day of judgment. La aisha illa aishul akhirah. Allah, please give peace and support to the Muhajirin and Ansar, to the people who migrated with me in Mecca, and to the people who supported me in Medina. So he did not like poetry. He is not a poet, but he wanted to support them with this word as he worked, and in the same time supported them. Ali ibn Abu Talib, he worked because he was young, and then also he tried to see the people around and said, no, nobody can be equal, those who work and those who doesn't work. Let us all work together. Let us all support the action that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ started. لا يستوي من يعمر المساجد يدأب فيها قائما أو قاعدا. So all of them working together under the instruction of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. When they start, they say this, everybody work, and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ with them. There was one of the Sahaba, Ammar ibn Yasir. He was strong and he is known in Mecca as a strong and young boy. When he started, everybody see him, and so they put in him 2 instead of 1. And he said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Oh my Prophet, they are putting on me more and more. I am afraid that they will kill me with this." And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in this environment, smiled and said, "No, they will not kill you. The time will come when the cruel group will kill you." And so they continue in this environment, in this time where everybody participated to build the mosque, and everybody from the Muhajirin or from the Ansar, all of them together cooperated, together tried their best to continue the mosque. And then in this time we see, after building the mosque, and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam started to pray in it and teach the Sahaba what to do in this mosque. And he used today to do all his prayer, to do all his action, to do all his here in the mosque. And inside the Rawdah AlSharifah, where we told you that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used it as a nucleus for work, not only for prayer but for everything. And also he received in it many delegations from all over the world, and met them, discussed with them, and then he taught Sahaba, try to be peaceful to everything, try to act in peace with every creature on this world. In Rawdah AlSharifah, he taught them this. And one day when he, after prayer, left outside, and he stayed outside the mosque, and all of a sudden some of the people saw him standing because a funeral was passing. A dead man, people carrying him, and passed nearby Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood. So the Sahaba thought that he didn't know that this body of this man is a Jewish, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stand for it. He said, "Oh Rasulullah, it is a Jewish body." He said, "It's not a soul? It's not a soul that we have to respect?" To teach them how we should respect every human being, and we should respect every creature. This is a lesson that gave them. Don't be cruel to anybody, and even when he sent them for some messages or some action or some azawat or some, he said, "Please be kind to everything. Don't destruct any cities. Don't bury any waters. Don't kill any old men or women. Don't kill children. Don't be cruel." All peace. And from inside the Rawdah here, he taught them all this beautiful thing, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That's why when we enter to the Rawdah, we said, let us, what have happened here with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, what he taught these people, what we should learn from his behavior. All this thing showed us that in our program, as we talk about Rawdah AlSharifah, we should concentrate to listen about the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ behavior, because Allah have described him, although he was very brave to the degree that the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim and Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib said, it became so hot in the battle, we stand behind Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's brave. But Allah did not describe him as a brave man. He was so generous when he gave, but did not describe him as a generous prophet. No. He described him with behavior. You are with great behavior. You are a man of a great behavior. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. That's why it's a teaching for us, because he is the symbol of the Muslim. When he said, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ مَنْ يُطِعِ الرَّسُولَ فَقَدْ أَطَاعَ اللَّهِ. He is the symbol for us. So we, from reading his seerah, his history, his behavior, we listen to the Sahaba, how they describe him. What did they say to him? To the degree the Ummahat al-Mu'mineen, mothers of all the believer, said, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he entered to his house from the Rawdah AlSharifah inside, he behaved as he is one of us. That's mean he is good to everybody, to his wives, to his people that serve him, to everything. He is peace with everybody and everything. That's why we should learn about this, lessons from the Rawdah AlSharifah. And some of the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim said, we never listened to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam shouted on us, on anybody, no matter what mistake he did. He tried to be kind to him. He tried to teach him. He tried to make him learn about his mistake, but not to be cruel to him. And he also is a prophet of merciful. During the wars, even when in Badr, we see how the battle, when we come sometime to it, to talk about it, people standing in a place of war, and Rasulullah arranging everything. All of a sudden he wanted to make sure that everything in order. He passed and saw one of the Sahaba, Uzayya, is coming out. He pushed him back and said, go back. And all the Sahaba said, oh Rasulullah, it was hard for me, and you did this for me. He said, what do you want? He said, I want to give me the right to take my full right. He said, okay, take this. And he said, no, when you pushed me, I was having nothing on my body. So Rasulullah took off his clothes, and Uzayya kissed him, and he said, why Uzayya did this? He said, because I want the last part, as we are now in my life, to touch your bodies. Peace be upon you. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.
When you feel all alone in this world and there's nobody to count your tears, just remember, no matter where you are, Allah knows. Allah knows. No matter what inside or out, there's one